Welcome to episode 148 of Outside the Circle, a podcast dedicated to new and upcoming country artists, musicians, and songwriters. Today's guest will be Chuckie Brown. We'll get to him in a little bit. But first, I'm Ronnie, and here's Brian.
Yeah, man, we are back into the summer. You're off of work now, and
Yes.
my it's my time of the season. I love this time of the season. I love fall. I love hanging in trees, and yeah, deer season starts. Arrows start flying.
Yeah. Yeah. It's fall is definitely my favorite season in general. Not for the same reasons, but just in general. Mostly because that means summer is over and camp is officially over. It's been a crazy few weeks getting that wrapped up, but now we're here. We're moving. This year we actually like tried to get a few interviews in over the summer, and I feel like we were somewhat successful at that. And going forward, that might be the case, but I like yeah, I like the feeling that it's over and now we're back to this. Like I think the benefit of not doing it in the summer is I get excited to do this again. So so yeah, we're here. It's end of September and yeah, fall's right around the corner and it's starting to feel like it here in New Jersey and yeah, it's good times around here.
Yeah, I mean and I'm excited for these new episodes, and excited for a couple more additions in our lives.
Yeah, yeah. So on that topic, because of summer and not recording, we haven't had chance to spread any good news around here. But as of today, as of recording on September 22nd, we're officially 6 months into pregnancy. So a little baby girl coming in 3 more months. It's wild, but very excited.
So exciting! I'm so happy for you guys, and I'm excited for her new big sister to meet her and everything. And you guys are it's gonna be so much fun. I'm so excited.
Yeah, I feel like that's been, it's weird because, having, a bonus 3-year old, um, I don't really know that beginning part yet. And so none of it feels real. But the best part has been the um, getting her reaction and her like as she continues to understand what's gonna happen, and that makes it very exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No, I mean Wyatt was, I guess, like two and a half ish or three. I can't quite remember. My dad brain is close. Um, and so when we had Hunter, and yeah, it was interesting. He kind of understood it, but kind of didn't. And then once like we finally brought baby sister home, like that's when he was like, "Oh my God, it's a little human." Like, and now to see them now, where Hunter's 1.5 and Wyatt's 5, and so yeah, it's wild. It's so cool to see how the sibling, uh, you know, the sibling love, first happens and then nurtures through the years, and it's the coolest thing.
yeah, yeah. We're very excited for it, and um, yeah, yeah. We know it's a girl. We we have all the names and thoughts and all of that picked out and ready to go. But yeah, it's I do have to say that the whole what's the sympathy symptoms are are they're very real. I've been dealing with some serious heartburn today, and but yeah, no, it's been amazing, and I can't wait. These next 3 months can't go quick enough.
No, you're right, man. It's gonna be cool. And yeah, nobody feels bad for the dads, so don't ever expect.
Right, right. Um, But like we said, we recorded a bunch over this, or we didn't get to record a bunch over the summer, so all this new news coming up. But we did have a few episodes that we've banked up. So today we're gonna give everybody Chuckie Brown here. This was early June, I believe we talked to him. So it's about 3 months ago, 2 months ago. So yeah, let's jump into our Chuckie episode and get into it. All right, everyone, we're here today with singer-songwriter Chuckie Brown. Welcome to Outside the Circle, Chuckie. Thanks for joining us today.
Thanks so much for having me. Psyched to be here.
Yeah, we're excited to chat with you. Couple of reasons. I don't know if you could see over Brian's shoulder, if it's even up, but Brian is a Boston Bruins, Boston area born. Well, I guess upstate New York, close enough, right? But Boston fan, Boston everything. So
There we go.
we always like to start from the top about, kind of telling us a little bit about, where you grew up and how important music was in your household. So knowing you're a Boston guy, let's jump right into that.
All right. Hey, my wife is from upstate New York, and I played hockey in upstate New York. So, hey.
Oh, nice. There you go.
Um,
Whereabouts?
so I went to school at Hobart. My wife's from like Rochester area.
All right, on. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm on the eastern side, so I'm like Lake George area, Saratoga, Lake George.
All right on. Nice. Dude. Very nice. Music in my household. That was the question, right? I have a short-term memory. Bear with me.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
yeah. So growing up, I had a semi-musical family. It was definitely kind of split. Like I would say I grew up with athletics was kind of the main thing in my life, but I started playing drums as a pretty young kid. So like 9 or 10 years old, I started playing drums. And then I got really into like, rock and roll and just like learning songs on the drum set, right? That took me to probably like early high school, started playing in bands just on the side. I was a hockey player growing up. That was my main thing, like you mentioned. So, yeah, when I had time, I would play drums and we would, do the school band thing. And then I was in Texas one year playing junior hockey. Couldn't bring my drum set, so I decided I would buy a cheap acoustic guitar. Taught myself some chords, some G, C, D, E minor, and started singing a little bit, writing songs, and just kind of took it from there and fell in love with it. I had always wanted to write songs. Even when I was a drummer, I had all these ideas. I just I couldn't make them. And so finally I decided, I'm going to give drums a little rest, start singing, start writing songs. And yeah, kind of just went from there.
Yeah, I mean, what were some of your influences growing up? I mean, what did you listen to? What did you hear in the house and stuff like that? Like, what were your folks listening to?
Yeah. Like everything, not everything, that's a cop out, but like as a young kid, it was just like 90s pop radio, Phil Collins. I always say Phil Collins is like my favorite artist because it's such nostalgia for me. There's a lot of Phil Collins on in the house. Disney soundtracks. This was like real little kid stuff. And then like the first music I got into was like 90s rock, Nirvana, like all of those bands, Stone Temple Pilots, Alice in Chains. And then kind of as I got, closer to high school, it was more pop. Like I think Maroon 5 was like their first album was the first pop I really liked as a grown up. And that was like a gateway into, because everything up to that point was kind of heavy rock, metal, and that just kind of opened up, like gave me the license to get into other things, country and really everything. And so now I kind of say like I'm kind of genreless. I like good songs. I can like a song from any genre if it speaks to me. But yeah, that was definitely 90s rock, I would say, was my home base.
Yeah, I mean, I think I haven't said it in a while, but the outside the circle bingo. This is one of my go-to phrases. But the the thing that I always say, like, there's never like genres. I think genres don't exist anymore, right? It's either like music
Yeah.
or not good music.
Yeah, totally agree. Yeah, it's just clothing. It's just like, oh, this genre uses this guitar tone and all that. Like, who cares? Like, I don't know, just make the music.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I definitely I agree with that too. We talk about it all the time that the um the influence that other genres, let's use the word, that
Yeah.
other
Yeah.
genres bring into each other. It's just everything's just such a crossover now that
Yeah.
it's hard to really pinpoint something.
Totally.
But I love that you brought up Stone Temple Pilots. They were actually one of my first live shows that I ever saw was Stone Temple Pilots on the Family Values '99 tour,
Oh man.
and man, could they put out a show.
I really wish I got to see them. I never saw them live, before Scott Weiland passed, and he was one of my favorites, still is one of my favorites. But yeah, they really put on a great live show, so I'm jealous.
Yeah. I think it was what, '99, so he had to have been, I don't know, maybe 11, 12, something like that,
Yeah,
and not really appreciating what we were watching,
right.
but yeah, I mean that was like Limp Bizkit's coming out, Linkin
Oh yeah.
Park's coming out, so that
Oh
that
yeah.
was we don't have as important tours like that anymore that
I want
other
to say there
genres
was like
have.
a Family Values CD back around that time. I'm pretty sure I had it. I don't remember
Oh
if it
yeah.
was live recordings or if it was just like singles from each one of those bands, but I definitely
Yeah.
had that and used to
Yeah.
rock that a lot.
Oh yeah, and kind of taking that Stone Temple Pilots, that '90s rock grunge, kind of into you now as an artist. You kind of mentioned between playing drums as a kid and then in high school getting involved in bands and kind of just seeing that progress and kind of keep moving forward. Um, I'm curious, kind of knowing like when you knew like, all right, like this is it, like this is the career I'm focusing on. I'm putting all my eggs in this basket and hitting the ground running.
Yeah. It had been like in my brain for a long time. So, I was playing hockey in college, but in college I was in bands. And so it was like I had really dedicated my whole life to hockey. So I really wanted to like see that through. And my first goal in life was to like play in the NHL and do that whole thing. And then, as you get older, you're like, all right, that's kind of a long shot. So let's see, like, music had really been bubbling to the surface. But anyways, I signed with a pro team after college in the CHL, which is a few leagues below the NHL. Um, got cut after preseason, and I was just so burnt out that I made my mind up like pretty much in Texas before I'd even came home. Like, all right, I'm gonna just pursue music. Because I had really like my mind, even the summer before I got to training camp, was really just like was on music. And I think I was almost relieved when I got cut because I was like, all right, well now I can just pursue music. So yeah, I think that was the moment I just didn't even look back. Started getting into some cover bands and playing around Boston and did that for a few years and then moved to LA.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I mean, being down in Texas, you must have been exposed to a different country world too. I mean, that's like that's got its own
Yeah.
flavor of
I
country.
was I was in Texas twice. The first time I was down there for maybe 8 months, but I was 19, so like I couldn't really go out to the bars and anything. Yeah, there was a little country scene, but this was probably mid 2000s, so I was still heavy in my like new metal era. And then I went to college, and then I went to Texas again. Different. I went to Amarillo the second time, and again I was only there for like 4 weeks, so I didn't really get to explore the scene too much, but yeah, I mean, it definitely opened my eyes up to just a whole different lifestyle, a whole different geographical area. I definitely like Texas and the South and the whole scene. So yeah,
Yeah, and then and then Boston, obviously known for its country music, right?
of course.
um, no, I mean, I'm interested to know like when did country music become part of your radar where you were like, all right, maybe we could dabble, we could throw a little bit of what we're doing in the rock world into this.
Yeah, it was one of those things that like I used to get often when I would play out, whether it was in cover bands or original bands. It was like, and it wasn't always what I was going for. It was like, hey, you should go to Nashville, or like you got kind of a country vibe, and like at the time it was like I was not going for that at all. So I was kind of like, ooh, I don't know. But then I started to kind of be like, well, why? Like started to ask people, what about that? And it's like, oh, your writing style, kind of your voice. And so I really just started listening to more country. because I didn't grow up with it. Yeah, Boston hockey player, like, you kind of have some idea. I knew who Garth Brooks was, like, but that was probably it. And then I started to listen to just like, whatever was on pop country radio. And, like, I was like, I like the writing. It's good songwriting. Like, it's good singing. It's just like, and the more I would listen to it, I'd be like, I think I can do this. I didn't want to go full on. There's a part of me that's like, well, I'm from Boston, so I can't go full on like, hey, my truck and my horse and my, like full, like I got to be authentic, right? But I like the sonics, I like the writing style, and so yeah, I just tried to take like pieces that I could from that and elements of that and elements of rock and stuff that I had already done and try to kind of make my own thing from it. I call it country adjacent. It's not really,
No.
country, but
And I like that it's not like Brantley Gilbert 2.0. It's
yeah,
not, it is your own style, which is cool.
yeah, cool. Appreciate that. But yeah, so
Yeah.
that's kind of how it started. But yeah, like country got on my radar. I don't even know, man. Like, it was always semi on my radar, but I didn't start paying attention to it till I started like writing songs and studying songwriting. And yeah.
Yeah. So that's actually kind of a perfect transition. I wanted to talk about songwriting just in general. So, kind of take us through like what that process looks like for you and kind of where you draw inspiration from, all that good stuff.
Yeah. So for most of these songs, me and Jace, John Samuel, he's a artist, songwriter, producer that I work with, super talented dude. It can kind of start anyway. Sometimes one of us already has some song concept or a thought coming in, like, hey, I keep thinking of this phrase or this whatever. Or I had this riff. What do you think? But sometimes we don't have anything and we just kind of spend the first hour, talking and then just seeing what comes out of both of us, what is happening in our lives. And then usually there's some type of theme, there's some type of, through line that we go, oh, that's cool. What about something like that? And then we'll start on a path and see like, all right, what do we need? What do we hear? Is this kind of a bluesy thing? And we just kind of start sculpting, and sometimes we'll get on a path for like a half hour, 45 minutes, and we'll just kind of, we hit walls and we're like, start something new. And then sometimes the song comes in 20 minutes, it's like, but yeah, it's all to say like, there's no like, we do this step and then we do that step. And it's just, you kind of just play and sculpt and see where it goes.
What I like about what you just said about when you hit a wall, you kind of just start over. And I feel like a lot of times when we talk about songwriting on here, I mean, like everything, there's no specific formula, like you said, and but I feel like a lot of the times we hear like, yeah, we were setting out for the perfect song and we were just working it until it came, but that's not always the case. You're
Yeah.
gonna hit some walls and I like that you're not afraid to take a step back and go, you know what, that's not working. Maybe we come back to it, maybe we don't. But
Yeah.
it's evident in kind of the way you're talking about it and the kind of the I hate this word, but the vibe you're giving off on it, that like for you, it's about the best song that you guys can write, and that may not be the one you're currently working on, and I like that mentality.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like you can't force things, and sometimes it's easier said than done. I'm not going to sit here and be like, I always have the best barometer of when to call it quits, because I've done like 50 versions of the same song before, and they just get worse and worse. It's like, so, but I would say, especially when you have a partner or someone that's there in the room with you, it's a big help to have someone to be like, let's just put this on ice for a little bit. We can always come back to it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's been so far so good.
Good. And so you mentioned being in Los Angeles now. You're out in LA.
I actually moved back east.
Oh, so you're back east now. So
Yeah, I moved back like two months ago.
Oh,
Yeah,
nice.
the fires in LA was like the last straw. I was like, all right,
Oh yeah.
I'm done.
Right on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a lot of ties to LA, and I lived out there for a few years myself, and my a lot of my family is still out in Anaheim, Burbank, like that whole area, and yeah, those fires were they were not nice.
No bueno. Yeah.
Yeah. But what I was going to bring up, and especially, having that experience. So actually, this is kind of now going to direct me kind of in another direction, but, we hear, especially being a country podcast, that, Nashville's the place to be. Nashville's where all the musicians are. Nashville's where, the best songs come out of. But LA, I think, rivals Nashville in the grander scheme of music. Nashville's definitely gotten a lot more diverse over the years. That's absolutely true. But LA's always been that. And I'm sure being out there, kind of bumping elbows with different folks. And I'm sure that definitely had a effect on your songwriting and, you as an artist over the years too.
Definitely. Yeah. Like, I think, I've only been to Nashville once actually, which is crazy, but I did a week there, did a bunch of writing and recording and loved it. And my impression was, yeah, like Nashville is it's music like based, like it's, whereas LA is just like entertainment and like people who want to be famous, as opposed to like, not saying there's not people that want to work the craft there, because there is, I was there, I was trying. But yeah, like overall, generally speaking, like I would say, I was super impressed in Nashville. I mean, and I expected to be, just with the musicianship and of everybody that we saw. But also, yeah, LA, like when you're around, you just go to the bar and you see like famous musicians and artists and actors. It's inspiring because you're like, it makes you feel like you're this close, even though you may not be. Like you feel like I'm one thing away from changing my life.
Yeah, I actually got a kind of funny story about that. So I mentioned that I lived out there. When I was out there, I played bass in a band out there, and we were not very good, but we would play at the the Knitting Factory in North Hollywood. We'd play there multiple times a month, and right next door was an In-N-Out Burger, and after before one show, we went into In-N-Out Burger, and Duff from Guns N' Roses, the bass player for Guns N' Roses, was sitting in there. We begged and borrowed to get him to come see us play. It was the worst show we've ever played. He literally walked out. And, so we didn't make it, needless to say.
Damn. Well, hey, props to you for trying. I think I probably would just be like, that's Duff McKagan, and walked on with my life. So
yeah, we had to try, but it was not very. Somebody decided that I should sing a song that night, and it was not my decision, and that never happened again. So
yeah, well, hey, you got to try, man. Props to you.
Yeah. All right, cool. So we're talking, writing, getting kind of your sound together, your style, and it kind of leads us to today. About a month or so ago, you released your debut EP. So we do want to jump into that, but I think this is probably the kind of perfect transition to take our break, play something from the EP, and then come back and talk about it. So why don't you go ahead and introduce the song for us? We're going to play, and we'll chat after.
All right. Well, the song you're about to hear is called The Jones. It was the last song written for the EP. I hope you dig it.
All right, so let's talk about the Jones. You mentioned it was the last song written for the EP, so kind of walk us through like the inspiration behind that song and ultimately getting it as kind of the focus track of the EP here.
Yeah. We had a bunch of songs written, not a bunch, but I think, more than 5 songs written for the EP. And I felt like, I just wanted one more that was like feel good, up tempo, that type of thing. So we just started playing some guitar riffs in the studio. I can't remember how we came upon the Jones as a concept, but essentially it's just about keeping up with the Jones, especially in a place like LA where, but not even just like it's for everyone. I think with social media, we're all scrolling all day long and comparing our lives to other people. And a lot of like, I don't know, crappy feelings can come from just always looking over the fence and seeing what other people are doing and what other people have and just not focusing on what you have and what you bring to the table and all that. So it can kind of sucks your soul away if you let it take over. So yeah, it's just about like, hey, come back to like, what do you have? What do you bring? And focus on that.
Nice.
That's the gist of it.
Yeah, I dig it, man. And I speak on just the way that my ears hears on the production side, and it's what a great drum sound that
Oh,
is. That I really like the drum sound in that.
wait, I played drums on that. So hey,
Hell
cool.
yeah. No,
I can't take credit for the sound of the drums, but hey, man, that's awesome. Glad
no,
to hear that.
yeah, right at the beginning, I was like, "Oh, that's a good drum sound,"
There we, there we go.
and then yeah, I mean, we I think we you know kick this dead horse plenty enough, but it's like that perfect like crossover blend, rock, country. Got it done. You could definitely hear the STP going on in
Oh,
it.
nice,
Uh,
nice.
I really like. There's a couple of times that the guitar, there's like a guitar harmony lick that's happening, and that's really catchy. I really like that, man.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, and
we just wanted to make some rock and roll, man. Like we like just wanted to get back to that classic, like, it was like, oh, windows down, driving, like that was the vibe I think we were trying to catch. I know you hate the word vibe, as do I, but I use it all the time. Um, but yeah, that was what we were going for. And it was one of those songs that came pretty quickly. I think we wrote it in maybe less than a half hour. And then it was just, all right, let's track this thing out. And it was, I think that's probably why I don't remember the process that well. It was pretty quick.
yeah, no, that's awesome, and yeah, definitely, it definitely has that windows down summertime.
Yeah.
Where so I'm born and raised New Jersey. We're based out of New Jersey now, but it definitely it feels like this could be on rotation as like a driving down to the shore on a
There we
summer
go.
weekend, and
Down at Belmar.
yep, going
Yeah.
to
Little
DJs
bar
and
A or something. There we
yeah,
go.
um, but yeah, well, I haven't heard Bar A in so long.
Well, I have very good, very close friends from Jersey, so I
Oh,
spent
nice.
many a summer down there.
Yeah, well, I'm sorry for your experiences, but no, yeah, but I haven't heard Bar A. Yeah, anyway,
I haven't been there in
that
probably
brought up so
15
many
or 20
memories.
years, but I don't remember that well either, but I've been there.
Right, right. The thing that for everybody listening that doesn't know the Jersey Shore scene, Bar A on Tuesday nights has quarter beers. They call it beat the clock, right? Or is that, yeah, beat the clock. For every hour, the beers go up in price from 25 cents to 50 cents to 75 to $1 to,
Wow,
so
I didn't even
you can
know
do
that.
some damage early.
Yeah,
Yeah.
jeez.
But anyway, so I always like to talk on the the topic, the lyrics of the songs, the kind of the meanings and stuff like that. And I really like how you said like in today's age we compare way too often. We want what others have and forget to look at what we have and kind of where we are and where we've come from. And I like yeah, I just really like the concept. I feel like we don't get songs like this often. Especially, funny calling it a a summer windows down, you expect it to be a drinking song or a party song, or but the way that you capture the story, the essence of what you're trying to say, compared to giving it that Stone Temple Pilots feel and that rock feel. And I think there's just such a nice blend of the two that really make this song stand out. And I'm glad you wrote it and put it on the album with it being the last song.
Yeah, thanks, man. Yeah, we always try to like weave in, the deeper meaning, of course, and like it's got to be digestible, but it's like, I don't want to just say the same thing everyone's saying. And just at
Mhm.
the end of the day, like it's all my life, like it's all like we talk, it's like a little therapy session at the beginning of every writing session. And then we just turn that into a song. So that's what, it makes me feel good about the music in the sense where it feels authentic. You guys have, I assume, been in bands or been around music. I know you had mentioned you had been in a band. It's like when you're writing music, a lot of times you can chase a certain sound or a certain vibe, like like I'm trying to be this cool thing that you're not. And like my goal with this project was to just really try to communicate like what's my story, who am I as an artist, what's my voice, and what's obviously easier said than done. But yeah, I felt like we did a pretty decent job with it on that one.
Yeah, no, absolutely, definitely did. And kind of talking about the Angels as a whole. So the EP itself, we mentioned this being kind of the focus track. Um, kind of kind of take us through like the rest of the EP, and now that it's been out for a little over a month now, I guess at this point, kind of how that response has been and how people have been enjoying it.
Yeah, the response has been great. Like you never know what to expect. I say as a new artist, as a new solo artist, yeah, it's like it's a little scary, like putting your stuff out there. I always liked the idea of being in a band because you could hide behind a band name and you could kind of use like four other guys, so you don't have to be so like spotlight. But yeah, the rest of the EP. Do you want me to go like song by song or just talk about it generally?
Yeah, whatever you want to talk
Yeah,
about. Yeah.
I mean, like, I guess I tried to blend, like, kind of to what you were saying earlier. Like, I wanted it to be, if you're just listening, because some people listen to music sonically, like melodically first, and some people zero in on the words first. I am definitely more of like melody first. And then if I like the melody, then I'll pay attention to the lyrics on like the fifth listen, where I'm like, what are they saying? You know? So I just wanted it to kind of work either way. So if you were just looking for something fun and singable on hopefully the first or second listen, cool. And if you were trying to kind of get something a little deeper lyrically, then you could have that too. And it was, yeah, it's a tough balance because you don't want to like be getting too deep, but you also don't want to be like super shallow. So yeah, just picking our spots lyrically, leaving like the verses to really put some of the weight into the lyrics, and then try to give like a hooky chorus. And yeah, feel like we found the balance.
Yeah, I like that. And yeah, it's like you're right. You definitely don't want to walking the tight line of being, like you said, not being like super shallow and just having a bunch of pop songs, and then not being super down in the
Yeah,
weeds, every
yeah,
feeling that everybody ever had, and then have that emotional roller coaster in six songs.
right,
you know,
exactly.
which is
Yeah, we tried to keep it somewhat thematic and like have the songs relate to each other. So yeah, that's
yeah,
what we
like
aimed for. Well, we did it, but
yeah, I like that. I like that idea, and I mean, that's just like it's smart business, right? I mean, we think of this career also as you're running a business, and
yeah,
that is it. But no, man, I love it. I think it's a really great EP, and then um, I'm excited to you guys getting really good feedback from it or what?
yeah. So far, I mean, look, it's not getting millions and billions of streams yet, I mean, but like I like that it's steady, like new people every day, every couple of days, kind of checking in and reaching out, whether it's messages or whatever, like people that I don't know that are liking it. And it's like that's kind of what you're going for. Like I obviously want to keep pushing it and getting it to more people. Because yeah, like I said, I have to assume like the best type of feedback I get is like, oh, I feel like I can relate to this, right? Of course, that's like obvious, but um, it's ironic because it feels like such a personal EP. But I think the fact that it's so personal, I think just people put their own story into it and can kind of hopefully see themselves and hear themselves in the story of the songs. But yeah, I mean, so far the feedback's been really, really nice.
Yeah, yeah, no, that's awesome. And I kind of want to you said something that kind of like caught my attention a second ago. Um, you could tell that you have that not just like the athletic background, but the hockey background. I don't think once so far yet you've said I in anything. It's always been we did it. We and you're talking about the EP. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's something that we did it. We put this together, and
yeah,
that's such a
the hockey bro thing.
yeah, like, but what I'm getting to that as a compliment
Yeah,
of there's so many people that you said you get to hide behind the band and being a solo artist and X, Y, and Z, but the whole team that you got, I'm sure some great people behind you that are helping you out and getting you
yeah,
pushed out here. And I really like that. I don't think I've heard you say I once
yeah.
yet, and
I got to make sure I don't now,
yeah.
but like no, I mean, hey, but that's hey, good call because it's true. Like it takes a village, and I've had a lot of help, with this EP from the ground up, and yeah, it's been a huge help, like basically I had been in a couple bands in LA and thought I was done with music. And uh, my, one of my best friends, Chris, who he is the one who kind of pushed me to do this solo project. And he kind of got this whole train rolling. So I owe him a lot, but yeah, man, it's definitely been a team effort, and I am just a piece of the puzzle. So yeah,
Yeah, yeah. I was slightly expecting the yeah, pucks in deep. We'll get to the get
yeah,
to the boards. We
yeah.
write the
Cycle back.
songs. We
Oh,
we yeah.
and yeah.
Um, I think hockey interviews are some of my favorite.
Oh man,
But
they're
yeah,
so funny. I do wish though that they could get like a little bit of like they need like a Conor McGregor character or like
yeah.
some hockey just needs someone who's like great on the mic. But yeah,
Yeah. Well, being on the mic, so let's kind of dive into the live side of who you are as an artist. So, you mentioned these bands and now, taking the solo route and kind of tell us a little bit like, what does a Chuckie Brown live show look like?
well, what it's gonna look like because we haven't even got the live show going yet. I want to kind of build up a little and make the first show really count. But so I'm just playing in bars right now, playing covers, sneaking some originals in there, just to kind of get. I treat it like minor leagues. Like I'm just getting ready for my shows once they start. But what I want it to look like is, in the past, I've done the band thing. We had backing tracks for like keyboard and synth sounds and things we couldn't create. I really want just 4 or 5 guys on stage playing instruments and like going live. And like, is obvious as that may sound, um, maybe to a non-music person, if you've played music, like not every band is always just going in like, picking up the instrument and playing. So yeah, I just want to get some type of backing band, ideally one or two other singers with some tight harmonies, and just play music, and pick it up and play. Keep it high energy and fun, and yeah.
No, I think that's a smart way, man. Not every live interaction needs to sound like the album, and I think
Right.
it's a big thing that uh, especially like younger artists try to mimic with backing tracks and
Yeah.
like that, versus having like real energy and real musicians on stage rocking out will get
Yeah,
such a better reaction out of the crowd than
100%.
hitting play on a laptop, you know.
Yeah, totally. I agree 100%. It's like you already have the record, so like that exists. Like you don't have to make it sound like, I
Right.
mean, it's gonna sound like the record, but it's not, like when you get so in the weeds of trying to get every single detail,
Yeah.
I think you lose something. So yeah, I think just keep it high energy, keep it fun, man, and like play the crap out of it.
Yeah.
And that's it.
No, I like it too. I mean, and with musicians, it could be fluid, right? You guys are playing off of each other versus a backtrack where you're locked in. It's mathematical, and that
Exactly. It's scary too. Like backing track is so stressful. One of my first gigs ever with a backing track, the thing went out and it was a nightmare. So
Yeah.
hard. Uh, yeah. So live instruments for sure.
Nice.
Yeah. No, I like that. All right, cool. So the Angels came out, like I said, back in May here, about a month ago. Um, what's the next little bit look like for you? Anything coming on down the line you want to touch on?
Yeah. So I just got back from LA last week, working on the second EP. We have a good amount of songs. I can't say if it's done or not. That's not my call, but we have probably 8 or 9 songs for a 5 or 6 song EP. And I think, yeah, we're going to kind of, with the Angels, it was more of a lighter sonic sound. I don't mean lighter as opposed to heavier. I just mean lighter as the opposite of dark. And I think the next one will be a little darker. So, yeah.
That's awesome, man. I'm actually really looking forward to really deep diving into both of them when the other one comes out and seeing that cool contrast. But for now, you want to let the listeners know where they can find you online and the music.
I am Chuckie Brown on Instagram. Yeah, anywhere. I'm on every streaming platform. I'm on YouTube. Chuckie Brown, Chuckie with an IE. That's all you need to know. You should be able to find me from there.
Cool. Well, Chuck, it was a pleasure chatting with you. And before we let you go, so it's Monday, June 2nd here, which means tonight is game one of the Stanley Cup Finals. So who do you got? Panthers, Oilers, and how many games?
Okay.
Marshy.
Well, what I want Oilers. I'm going to say Oilers in 6. I'm just going to say that. I think I'm wrong, but that's what I'm going to say.
All right. What do you think, Brian? What do you got?
I mean, I am, as you know, Bruins through and through. So it pains me to say Florida, but
Because of Marchand.
I love Marshy though.
Yeah.
I got to see him get another one. So I don't know, man. I think it might go 7, and I think Panthers are going to take it though.
You're probably right.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
a safe bet right there. Yeah.
yeah. I'm gonna throw Panthers in 6 out there, and I like the back to back. I like that Canada just keeps, even though 32% of every team is Canadian. I like that Canadian teams are not winning. So,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
Panthers in 6, and
Love it.
yeah, Chucky, man, it was an absolute pleasure getting to talk with you, and the Angels is so good, and can't wait to hear that the contrast, like you were saying, on the upcoming EP. So definitely keep us in the loop when that starts coming out. We definitely want to check it out.
Will do. Yeah. Thanks so much, guys, for having me. Appreciate your time, and we'll talk again.
All right, so that was our interview with Chucky Brown, and yeah, I mean, Brian, like I said, this was a few months ago, so it was fun to go back and re-listen and kind of reacquaint ourselves with Chucky here, and yeah, it was cool to kind of talk about his story, coming out from behind the drum kit and getting front and center. And yeah, he's been doing some great things since we've chatted, and it's exciting to see where he's going here.
No, I'm excited, man. And yeah, I mean, a New Englander, one of my favorite places, right in time for hockey season to start. So yeah, it's all lining up just perfect, and I'm really excited to see what Chucky has coming on down the line too.
Yeah, yeah. You mentioned it's right on the cusp of hockey season here, so it's kind of perfect that this is our release today. But yeah, yeah. I mean, we kind of talked a bit in the episode about his song "The Joneses," and going back to what we were talking about pre-interview, I think this is kind of almost kind of a perfect little song to also hit here with the comparing and trying to keep up with everybody around us, and I'm sure I'm going to be doing a lot of that in the next few months, so kind of a good reminder here also. So it kind of all worked out the way it was supposed to, getting Chucky released today.
No, it works out, man. Yeah, no, I'm excited for it, and definitely want to thank Chucky for coming on Outside the Circle. Make sure you go and follow him on all of his social media, music listening platforms. We'll leave you today with another track from Chuckie Brown. I know, I don't know.
Keep calm while you're carrying on. That's some bullshit that you put in the song, but ooh, don't mean it's wrong. There's a lady on the boardwalk reading my palm, said the money and the fame coming right along. Yeah, ooh, we'll see how it goes. Trying to get right, I figured out the way. It took a lot of time and it took a little faith. Now I know I don't know. I'll find out when I'm old. Then I'll start living my best life and my best nights. But I'll start a little trouble in the meantime. I know I don't know. Maybe it's better that way. Left town to clean my mind, sitting in silence on my own dime, yeah. Ooh, it's still a vibe. Looking at star signs for my next move. I'm a Gemini and an asshole too, yeah. Ooh, with nothing to prove. Waiting on God while I'm staring at a J. It took a lot of time and it took a little faith. Now I know I don't know. I'll find out when I'm old. Then I'll start living my best life and my best nights. But I'll start a little trouble in the meantime. I know I don't know. Maybe it's better that way. Maybe it's better that way. Some nights it's me in that sky, down on both knees, and I don't know why, but maybe I'll be alright, but I know I don't know. Maybe I'll find out when I'm old. Then I'll start living my best life and my best nights. But I'll start a little trouble in the meantime. I know